So it is the very 1st of September, which means we need to do our very first draw. If you don't know what Bookoplathon is, I said draw, I meant. How come when I do my TBR game, I always say rolls, but when it's other people's TBR games, when I need to say rolls, I say pulls or draws? Can't.
How are you going?
I do have an update. I did finish a book, my one solitary book for my one solitary roll this week, and that is things I'm throwing around. Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey, and we're about to get very, very nerdy with week 1 of Bookoplathon. I never think I say it right. Bookoplathon? So today is the very 1st of September, so we are here to start my weekly reading vlogs for Bookoplathon. So if you don't know what that is, it is a TBR game. I'll leave the announcement video down below, but it's basically a TBR game created by Becca from Becca and The Books based on her Bookopoly board, which is a readathon, or not a readathon, but a TBR that she does every single month. She's kind of cut it back this year, but she usually does it every single month and has created a readathon based on it. It's basically based on Monopoly, and so like there's a board that she created and you roll and you land on prompts and you read things for that prompt. It's very simple. But usually for this kind of readathon, I do like, you know, a bunch of rolls ahead of time, but this month I've decided to take the mood reading route and we'll see how it goes. So if you saw my TBR, it was ridiculous. There was like 12,000 things on it. I think there's actually only 11 books on there, but like it went crazy, and I didn't want the added stress of like Bookoplathon rolls, so we're gonna go roll by roll and see if I can fit the books that I need to read this month in and like kind of mood read that way. So let me go get the iPad, because I've got it pulled up on the iPad, and do a quick roll and see what our very first prompt is. So here's the board that I pulled up on our iPad. I literally found this tiny pine cone. It was just something I had around that was small enough that could fit. So here's what we've got. I'll figure out the chance and community shelf if that's something we roll on, but I found this dice, so let's see what the first roll is. Ooh, 6. Ooh, a book with people on it. Okay, so we had the roll, like I mentioned, and the very first prompt was people, and that basically, like, it's this section where it's like things that are going to be on the cover. So this one specifically is people on the cover, which is great because I am in the middle of something that I need to really read, and that is One Dance with a Duke by Tessa Dare. This was the buddy read between me and a couple of my friends, Taylor and Brooke, over on Instagram. We read a Tessa Dare book every single month, and this was our August book, and all of us waited until the last minute, which is fine. So I am chapter 6. I read 5 chapters. I really need to get cracking on this one. So I'm barely into it. But as you can see, there are people on the cover. And so I am currently reading this one, so I'm going to pull this one over into this month. But people was a great roll. I was super worried about doubles, but I got a good roll, and so we're going to go with this one first. I had a couple of other options in my head, but I decided to do the more practical thing and actually do a book I'm currently reading. So I am in the middle of another book, which was the last book for the Magical Readathon, but I didn't finish in time, so I'm going to sneak that in really quick, and then we're going to pick this one up. This one basically is a trilogy, and it follows this thing called the Stud Club, and it's basically like this club that all owns a horse, and it's like the men in this club. And so this book specifically, I'm not 100% sure what it's all about because I didn't actually read the back, but what I know so far is we've met our 2 main characters, and I'm forgetting their names. Amelia. So we've got our main character, Amelia, who was kind of struggling. I think she doesn't have parents anymore, and her oldest brother was killed in war, and so it's really her and her younger siblings, and she's kind of like mooching off of, I believe, one of her aunts, and just kind of making it. And she's decided she's been in London. She's had a couple of seasons, and it's not going well, and so she's decided that she's a spinster. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. She's got her her home in the country that was given to her kind of like it's their family home, and she's excited for her summer there, and that's going to get her through. And then her brother, one of her brothers, she's got many, but one of her brothers is a huge drunk and a huge gambler, and he comes to her and basically says like he lost a bunch of money to this big duke guy, and they're going to let out their summer home for rent this summer and pay him back. And she's like, what the heck? And so this guy, Duke, he's called like Midnight Duke, and his whole thing is like he knows he needs to, you know, get a wife so that he can have an heir, because he does have a ward, which I believe is his cousin, who was about to have a season. And so he wants to make sure that like she is taken care of, because if he has an heir, then that means that heir is going to be able to take over his land, and that way she will always be taken care of, kind of thing. And so his whole thing is he shows up at he hates, I think, based on the little I've read, he's got huge social anxiety and like possible panic attacks. I'm not sure yet on that one, but his whole thing is he hates people. And so he shows up at midnight at all the parties. He picks one girl, dances all of the dances with her, and then leaves. And like everyone's like excited and wants to be chosen by him and all this stuff. And so he's the duke that the brother lost a bunch of money to. And so Amelia's like, screw this, you ruined my summer plans. And so she grabs him and they dance. And so that is literally like the first chapter. But like that spirals her into a situation, which spirals her into another situation, which spirals her into another situation. So I am very interested in what this is going to do, because this is the second series that Tessa Dare wrote. Her first series we just finished, like her debut series, was not good. I'm not gonna lie. One book in the series was good. The rest were at best. And so I'm already loving this one way more than the others in the series, and I'm very excited about that. So that was a long-winded way of saying this is the book I'm going to choose. So I'll let you know how I go. I probably won't come back until I finish this book, because I do have it on audio, and I like plow through historical romances like crazy. So that's my plan. So that's the first one I will be reading in the month of September for Bookoplathon. I'll let you know how it goes. I'm very excited. I'm glad I got this one on. That was a very, very lucky draw there. Tis me. We're here to wrap up this week because it's Friday, but also I do have an update. I did finish a book, my one solitary book for my one solitary role this week, and that is things I'm throwing around. And that is One Dance with a Duke by Tessa Dare, which is the first in her Stud Club series. So I gave it 3.5 stars. It was fine, but like there wasn't anything amazing, you know? So like when I wasn't reading this book, I didn't feel like the need to pick it up, but when I was reading it, I was mostly enjoying it. There was some stuff that like our main characters did that like, it was okay. There wasn't anything spectacular. I didn't fully believe in their like romance and their relationship. There's like a few questions I have about that, but I'm interested to see where we continue, because there's like 3 main male leads that this trilogy is going to follow, and we meet all of them in this book, and I know that the second book is going to follow one that I'm very interested to figure out his backstory, and he's kind of like got the tragic war hero kind of vibes, and he goes back to his hometown, and he runs into this like tavern lady, and like that book sounds interesting. So I'm interested in the second one, but like this one was fine. Like there wasn't anything bad about it. Like it's this weird feeling, because like I didn't love it. It was fine. It was a historical romance. There's a lot of other books out there that are just like this one, but it wasn't like the full-on Tessa Dare that like we are used to. So I don't know. I have like very mixed feelings about this. Like I don't even know how to talk about it, because it was generally okay. Again, romance, didn't fully believe, but like it was fine. It ended very, very abruptly, in the sense of like I legit thought my audiobook like skipped or something, because it ended a lot. But like it gave me all of the feelings that you expect from like a rom-com romance kind of story, where like there's issues and like they keep not talking about the problems, and then finally something happens and like they realize stuff, you know? But I don't know, there's a way they could have gone about it that they didn't go about it. And also I just don't care. And like this guy's whole life, the whole like reason these two like kind of got together is there's a very specific thing that this main character, the Duke, is after, and he is like set his life on this. He's been trying to get like a specific thing like for a very long time, and he is like set to do it, and nothing will stray him from it. And then all of a sudden he like changes his mind and like doesn't do the thing. And I feel like that's not believable. Like, yes, it's believable for him to make that decision, but not as quickly as he made it. And I feel like there needed to be more build up and more conversation and maybe internal dialogue with him as far as like what makes him do that, because like we get a little bit of it, and so like the reason that he does the things that he does makes sense, but they feel very rushed, and it feels like the author kind of went, oh crap, now I gotta wrap up the story and I don't know how to do it, and there's a big climax that's about to happen and I need to get to the big climax. Okay, we're just gonna make this very quick. And it I don't know, it didn't work. This felt, her first 2 series are really feeling very like classic older historical romance, which is fine. That's definitely a vibe that people go for, but I have learned that I'm kind of enjoying her newer stuff, which makes me think that like the newer historical romances that have been coming out, where there aren't any kind of like scenes where you're like, I don't really believe what's going on, or like things that even 5 years ago wouldn't be considered inappropriate between couples. Like the consent line is very blurry the older you get with historical romances, and the newer stuff usually has a very distinct not crossing of that line. So if there's ever a scene that's even remotely close to something that might be considered not as consensual, then they steer clear of it. Whereas with older historical romances, that whole like brooding man taking control kind of thing is very, very much used, and so that consent line gets a little blurry. Like I don't know how to like phrase this, but that's kind of the vibe I was getting. Not that there was anything in this book that was even remotely like non-consensual, but there were definitely scenes that I was like, okay, this feels kind of classic historical fiction in the sense of like he is making decisions and like not thinking about the woman, and like there's just some stuff like that that like you wouldn't see in books that were written within like the last couple years or so. So I think I'm more of a contemporary historical fiction, if that makes sense, like books that were written relatively recently rather than like older. Now this was still written in 2010, so like it's not, oh no, that's 12 years. Oh no, I think my brain just broke a little bit. Oh, that hurts. So like not new, but not like written in the 80s where like things were very blurry. So like it's got that weird line of like, I mean, it's all technically consent, but there's just some stuff that I'm like, I don't really know how I feel about that. So yeah, it like I don't know how to talk about it without it sounding like I absolutely hated it, because I didn't enjoy a lot of the stuff. They had those romantic feelings and they had those like bubbly butterfly kind of moments, but there wasn't anything like spectacular about it. So again, interested in the second one, so we'll see. But yeah, it was for people on the cover, which is very clearly people on the cover. So I finished my one solitary book so far. Not so far this month. I've read one more book this month, but it wasn't for this readathon. So like, it's just been interesting. So it means that we're due for another roll, but I've decided that I'll not do it here since I'm wrapping up anyway, and I'll just do it at the beginning of next week, and hopefully get through more, because my September TBR is like calling me. I want all of there's so many books on that list that I want to read, and I haven't done anything because I've been trying to get through this one, and it kind of like, it didn't put me in a slump, but it put me in a hold, and I didn't want to pick anything else up. Like, I felt like I couldn't pick anything else up until I finished that book, but I didn't want to finish it because I didn't care, you know? So, very glad it's done. Gave it 3.5 stars. We'll see what the rest of the series is like. And, that is what happened this week. Very exciting stuff. As I'm sure you can see, this might be the shortest vlog I've ever done. So, apologies for the not great start to Bookoplathon, but next week, I'm hoping next week's going to be good. I've got a lot of stuff in the library that's kind of like due soon, and things that I really, really want to read, so I'm hoping to like plow through a few things. But that's what I've got for you guys today. So I hope you enjoyed whatever this vlog turns out to be. Please let me know down below if you're participating in Bookoplathon. How are you doing it? If not, what are you reading in September? Are you getting into the spookier fall type books like I am trying to do? Because I mean, I can't tell if you noticed, but I'm in a sweatshirt. I do not need to be in a sweatshirt. It is too warm outside for me to be in a sweatshirt, but I want the fall. So I'm trying to bring it, I'm trying to like manifest it, but please let me know how your reading is going so far this month. But if you like this video, and I very much hope that you do, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you'd like to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got all my social media down there, as well as fun other bookish links, so don't forget to check all of that out, and I will see you guys in my next video.